welcome to Brown in the City. This is Shantae.
And this is Letitia. And today we want to talk about the relationship table. Don't just sit at it, contribute to it. And with that being said, we're going to talk about how can we contribute to a man's well-being, or not even a man, but just in general in a relationship. What do we bring to the table? I feel like, first of all, we should bring peace to the relationship. No one should have to come home to their family or to their partner and not have peace. You should feel that should be your most comfortable space. So, I feel like people always go to the cooking and the cleaning, but it's way more than that. What do you think about it?
I would just say building a team mentality.
Mm-hmm.
How to approach challenges as a team, working through it, because you both are weathering the storm together.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have good days and bad days. And it's just about, coming together and just having that mindset of, hey, we got this. I got you. You got me. So you have to have that strong mind mentality, to get to where y'all need to be.
And going back to the cooking and cleaning topic, I feel like a lot of men or women, they can do that themselves. So we got to think to ourselves, what do we bring to the table that they can't?
And I feel like the cooking and cleaning, that's natural.
That should be natural. It should
that's
be.
Something that...
It should be natural.
Yeah, that's natural. That's something that you should automatically do.
Mm-hmm.
So the cooking and cleaning, let's throw that to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So I think that we also need to provide emotional support. I feel like they should be able to talk to us and try to comfort them and things like that. They shouldn't have to come home to a battlefield like they come home and they feel like they can't talk to their partner. They should feel very comfortable. So it shouldn't be a battlefield. It should be a place of comfort and a place where they just feel like they can just get all of whatever they're going throughout the day.
I would say also independence in space.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding the need for individuality,
Mm-hmm.
personal space, self-care, and just pursuing personal interests,
Mm-hmm.
Other than y'all interests together,
Mm-hmm.
vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, in a relationship is, you have to let that, man hang out with his friends. They have to have an outlet as well, and not having that, attitude of, you're always hanging out, this and that and the third. Like, they need their own self-care, things that they love to do. You have to have them be able to know that it's okay, that they can go out and, have fun, enjoy things that they love to do. So just being there and not having this bad energy of, why are you always doing this and going out, you don't spend time, Each individual person need their own space. And
yes,
I believe that makes the relationship stronger.
Yeah.
No one doesn't want to come home to a complainer, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's no one needs that. That pushes a person away, man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you don't have your own. You can't be yourself, and you should be able to be yourself in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, being there, for your man, and not giving him any grief about hanging out.
And this is for male and female. I do know that it's more women saying that what they bring to the table is the cooking and cleaning and the little silly things. But I feel like this goes for both, because there's a lot of women out there that bring a lot to the table. So I also think that people are stuck in traditional gender roles, like men are supposed to be the protectors, the providers, and women are supposed to be the nurturers or whatever the case. But that shouldn't matter. I feel like when you're in a relationship, it should be shared responsibility. The men could be the nurturers. The women can be the providers. Like, whatever is needed at that time, you should be willing to step in and do it. It shouldn't be, oh, well, he's the man, he should be doing this. And she's the woman, so she should be doing that. It should be, look, y'all are partners, and y'all are helping each other. So it shouldn't be who should be doing what. Y'all should help each other out. It should always be a shared responsibility when you love each other, when you're a family. It's shared. No one should have a main rule. It should always be someone willing to step in and do it if you can't.
Yeah, it should be, halfway. You have to meet a person halfway, in order for it to work, anything to work, that's definitely, I would say, an issue with that, because also people are stubborn and used to their own ways. But sometimes you have to, just be considerate and, try to put your feet in that other person's shoes, how would you feel if the roles switched, so.
And these are most times learned behaviors. These are behaviors that a lot of us learned when we were growing up, and we think that a men are supposed to do this or a woman is supposed to do that. But listen, when you're in a relationship, you're going to do what makes the two of you happy. It shouldn't be, what you saw your mom do or what you saw your dad do. And I know it's easier said than done because we tend to do what we grew up seeing. But a lot of times you have to change it. You have to break the cycle.
I would just say, just being a true partner, being open to feedback, be willing to grow and not hold on to ego or playing blame games, just own up to certain mistakes, embrace it, that also makes a strong relationship.
I also feel that we should listen more. I think a lot of us listen to the parts that we want to listen to, and we give feedback based on what we want to talk about. But I think we need to listen more to our partners. That can go a long way, actually listening, because that can make any relationship last for a very long time, listening to your partner.
Standards and boundaries. Having clear expectations, not out of entitlement. Knowing what he will accept and what he won't accept.
I would say another one is to just validate feelings. Validate your partner's feelings. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean you don't have to validate. You kind of want to acknowledge how someone feels, and y'all can just, talk about it. Communication.
Nurturing qualities, not in the motherly sense, just emotionally being there, just to check in, bringing warmth to your relationship. I think that's very important.
And listen, accountability, okay? Own up to your flaws, mistakes, and growth areas. We all have to take accountability for all our actions in a relationship, so accountability, we have to bring that to the table.
Nurturing qualities, not in the motherly sense, but being emotionally there, care, check in, bring warmth into the relationship. That's what it's about. So.
And you also have to bring affection, kindness, patience, effort, not just expectations. We have to have all of those things. They're the most important.
Absolutely. Respect for masculinity. Honoring a man's identity, not trying to diminish him or control it, but allowing space for him to lead. Build or protect. Allow him to play his role as a man.
And I would just say, ask what they need. Ask what they need. And I think in a relationship, we don't do that. We don't always ask people what they need because everybody's different.
Yeah.
A lot of times people base what they do off of their last relationships, and everybody's different. You can't do for the next person what you did for the last person. Yeah. Everybody's different. What made someone else happy might not make the next person happy. So ask, what makes you happy?
Yeah.
What makes you happy? What can I do to support you more?
Yeah.
So you have to ask.
Yeah.
And
if you feel that way, no one's a mind reader, so you have to communicate. You have to communicate your feelings. People may say the words, but actions also plays a big part. You can say anything, but actions play a big role. Your relationship isn't a game. Don't compete. Don't compare, with your man. Let him be a man. Let him do what he needs to do. You are a woman. Stay in your woman era. Be happy and embrace that you have a partner that is there to be your backbone, lead you, in every way in life. Let him lead. Don't go back and forth with him. Sometimes it's good to be silent, and even though you don't agree with certain things that he may say, trust me, he's with you for a reason. It's kind of good to just stay quiet and let him do what he needs to do for y'all.
And I would say be their safe place. Let them be them without judgment. Let them be able to come to you and talk to you about whatever and not feel like that you're going to judge them.
And definitely loyalty. Protect him in spaces that he's not in. Be his protector as well as he's yours. Honoring a man's identity, not trying to diminish him or control him, but allowing space for him to be a leader for his family and his family's household. And that's what it's about.
I would also say be his peace, not his pressure. He should feel very comfortable going home, coming to you, and vice versa.
Yeah. And do know that, work can evolve, work can dissolve, things can change in an instant, whereas though now you have to hold the household down. So, just take in what he's giving you. He's only trying to lead you in the right direction and want best for you. Don't be combative. Don't, compete. Trying to be in his shoes. No woman can never be in a man's shoes. A man's a man. Yes, as women we can, take on jobs that, they say it's men jobs, but a man is a man. A woman is a woman.
And a nurturer is a nurturer, so it doesn't have to be a man or a woman.
Yeah.
You could be a man and be a nurturer.
Yeah.
As well as a woman.
Absolutely.
So So you want to support your man? Bring more love. Bring more peace.
Compassion.
Bring belief in his vision.
Nurturing qualities, not in the motherly sense, but being emotionally there, care, check in, bring warmth into the relationship. That's what it's about. So.
And you also have to bring affection, kindness, patience, effort, not just expectations. You have to have all of those things. They're the most important.
Absolutely.
Be his calm in a world that could expect him to always be strong.
Remind him of God.
Top
That's
tier.
number one.
Top tier.
Pray together.
I always say family that pray together stays together.
Absolutely.
I solely believe that.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, guys, for joining us once again. Please go follow our podcast at Brown in the City Podcast on Instagram.
And our YouTube channel, Brown in the City.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.